We will have a leveling system, so each account will have levels and progress in such manner. But basically, since this is a purely PvP game for now, and we are aimed at bringing the PvP massacre out, we just want to add ladders and leaderboards and this sort of stuff. So it's not a linear progression per se, but rather not sure if I can say that, but we're planning on introducing some kind of say leaderboard system that is going to motivate people to move forward and to progress in the game, first of all in terms of skill and in terms of their spot on the ladder, and then in addition to that in terms of levels of their accounts and so on. And there's more, but I'm not sure I can say about that, so I'm not gonna. Very sorry about that. It's still classified info.
Can you guys talk about the inspirations for the battle mechanics? I mean, I it kind of feels like just watching this here, it feels a little bit of like for a deeper For Honor system, like a lot deeper For Honor system.
And you have the beta coming up fairly shortly. What kind of? You mentioned duel and 3v3. Can you go into detail about like what kind of modes and what kind of will be available in the beta, and maybe a little bit on what's in the works?
Currently in beta we have duel, we have 3 versus 3 brawl, and we have in somewhat classical domination. Of course we are working on other mod, but it's a secret for now on which concrete.
Can you guys talk about
which...
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Can you guys talk about the UI interface a little bit? Obviously, the green is health, is the white stamina, and the blue is like your energy for your 2 special abilities.
No. The blue is a very cryptic stat. It means poise, stability for hits.
We call it resilience right now. The moment this blue bar is drained down to 0, you get hit. So and any of your actions are interrupted, and you just stand there and get hit with whatever comes at you. So basically everything that is the UI is really simple. It is still in the works, but you have your stamina, your health bar, your resilience bar, and on the sides, these are the 2 abilities. The left one, the F1, is the weapon ability. It's on cooldown, and the right one, you have to either hit or get hit to charge it. So that's how it works pretty much.
Can you guys talk about some of the inspirations for the battle?
Mechanic. I was just gonna ask, like, so do those attributes change with each character? Like, is there more stability for or resilience for one character over the other? Like, say the tank character, does he have more of a?
Well, it's not exactly probably like the discrepancy probably is not in the resilience itself, but every weapon drains. First of all, you have light attacks and heavy attacks, and heavy attacks drains way more resilience than light attack, any light attack. And then all the different weapons, they drain different amounts of resilience. So right now you're seeing a healer guy and a dude called Merkweg with a huge axe. So anytime he hits you with that axe, your resilience goes almost to nothing. So that's basically how it works. The amount of resilience, I think it's the same for all the characters, but at the same time, you still get your weapon kind of defines the amount of resilience you take down from all the other characters, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you guys talk about some of the inspirations for the battle system? Because it feels like a lot more complicated For Honor, like a much more in-depth battle system than For Honor, with abilities and specific classes and teamwork.
Yeah, so but basically the most important source of inspiration is Dark Souls, and it might not look like that this much like in this build and in this version. That where it all started from. About a year ago, the game was a lot more Dark Souls than it is right now, and in terms of stamina and stamina control and resilience, and in terms of like the way dodges used to work and stuff. But right now we've kind of went away from that, and basically the core is really peculiar and very interesting in our opinion. So you have the 4 basic moves: the light attack, the heavy attack, dodge, and block, and they work all together. So you block the light attack and you dodge from the heavy attack, and instead, and in addition to that, you punish dodges with light attacks and you punish blocks with heavy attacks. It sounds like really simple, but that adds a lot of depth to the way this the game plays, because that changes, you know, the whole perspective of the game. You don't play on. You don't necessarily look at what your opponent does. You try to predict first of all, and to outplay and outsmart your opponent in that manner. And then in addition to that, of course, but that's like the basic personal level. And in addition to that, there's these synergy level, let's call it that. That was something we were looking into since the very beginning of the project. We wanted to make a project that could work on synergies of different characters, but not necessarily in terms of traditional classes. Like you see, everyone can damage, everyone can accept damage and heal and whatnot, and the way these guys just synergize with each other, that's what we aimed for. And we're just really happy that you're asking these questions, because apparently we kind of succeeded in that regard. So a lot of characters can are sort of like complementary to each other, but not just one characters are complementary to the other. Everyone can work with everyone else, and that's the fun part, I think, about it, and the part that adds a lot of depth.
I see that there's like there's characters that are using like 2-hand swings, and some have shields, and some are using kicks. So are there like parryable situations? Like, do they have a parry button or like a kick option that interrupts attacks?
Yeah. So we used to have like the same special like counterattack moves for all the characters, but in this build you're playing right now, we have to further distinguish and our characters, we just added everyone their own personal move. So as you can see, Vorga can kick, and that's whenever you press R on your keyboard, Vorga kicks. That's what he does. The dude with shield, he uses like he attacks with his shield and just zones out the opponent. Everyone has their own special move. There's the parry, the shield move, the kick, and so on. Everyone has their own move, and we wanted to add like a whole, like a one personal move for every character, so that everyone is unique in that regard as well, not only in terms of his abilities or weapon. So.
Okay.
Guys, sorry to interrupt you. Probably we will move to domination mode.
Or you can try duel.
You guys mentioned
Better to show domination.
You guys mentioned crafting before. How does that play into the PvP experience specifically?
Well, crafting is a great change of pace. It's not exactly built into the core gameplay, because core gameplay is a lot of fighting and a lot of surviving and using abilities and all that. And when you craft, you just you rest, and that's a pretty zen state I don't know, probably it's just me, but for me it's a pretty zen state when I can just collect whatever rewards I have, see what I can craft, see what I want to craft, and then you can craft a whole bunch of stuff from arena decorations to skins. It's basically like an additional game mode that lets you change the pace, that lets you rest a little bit, and that's how it works. So it's not exactly incorporated into the core gameplay, because core gameplay is brutal fighting, and crafting is just having fun in an easy and engaging zen way. That's how I see it, at least.
Yeah, we can go to the domination.
Okay.
Or you can choose a little bit dueling. What you are choosing? Choose your destiny.
Let's see Domination.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
I did want to ask, in the beta that's coming up, will players have access to all the available warriors from the start, or is it something where like a handful will be available and you have to earn your way to the other heroes?
Yeah, we'll have 3 characters available at the start. So you can see on your screen right now, it's Vorga, it's Raha, and Renar. So the first 3 characters, and then the other 3 characters you will have to earn your way towards. Yes. So that's the answer.
And is that a crafting thing, or is it how does that work?
Well, no, that's not a crafting thing. You cannot craft a character, but you can buy a character using using one of the in-game currencies. So you can just fight a lot with the characters you have and earn your other characters. That's simple as that. Yeah.
Is there a cap on how many types of classes can be on heroes can be on each team?
You mean like, do we have to? Can I like interpret your question? Can we have like 5 of the same characters on the same team? Is that the question?
Yeah, correct. Yes.
Yeah, well, yeah, we can have all 5 of the same characters, and we're looking into that. We've had some experiments with that, but frankly, that's the way it is for now. Probably we'll change that in the future, but we'll need more experiments, because the thing is, especially in Brawl, not so much in Domination, but especially in Brawl, people find extremely fun combinations of characters and extremely fun strategies. Like our close better players had massive fun with just building up formations. So we just decided to leave it be the way it is for now. So you can have 5 of the same characters on the same team.
What's the difference between this mode and your duels mode? Is there respawning in any mode, or is it permadeath until the next round?
You can respawn in Domination. That's the only mode for now where you respawn, and this is like your classic tag of war mode, when you just need to collect 1,000 points. You can see the counter on the right side of the screen, right center side of the screen, and you can respawn as many times as you want, but of course, every time you die, you grant points to your opponents, so it's not recommended to die ever. So yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and on this screen you can see Allfather as the healer, currently running away from the big axe dude, and now he's got his allies coming in for help.
Well,
Still
and I
dead.
just saw something very interesting that just now, that mead horn. Can you talk a little bit about, like, is that a power up, and are there more like it across the map?
Yeah, this is the power up. It's the only power up that is available in the current build, and it is only available in the lobby and in Domination modes. We still experiment with the power ups overall, and with adding mid horns to other game modes. But yeah, you can find a bunch of those all across the map here. And the thing is, we actually mentioned that in our launcher that collecting and controlling meat horns is one of the most important things to do in Domination. On a lot of occasions, people who have more meat horns win just because they cannot leave their opponents and don't have to run away all the time.
You guys mentioned Dark Souls as inspiration. Does that mean that you do bonus damage if you sneak up behind them and hit them in the back? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, that's a really great question, and I see your Dark Souls, and then that works that way. Indeed, yep. You there's a multiplier if you hit someone from the back, from behind.
On the matter of power-ups, like obviously I wouldn't expect to find something like that in a 1v1 duel, but is it in the 3v3s?
Not yet. We've actually experimented a lot with that, and at the moment, at least with the meat horns, the way we have them right now, they kind of the whole game becomes all about them. People don't tend to fight, they tend to collect meat horns and then fight a little bit, and the game just shifts towards that collecting part. That's why we probably not permanently, but for the moment, we've decided to omit them from roles. But we're looking into other things. Not sure if I can. I'm pretty sure I cannot talk about them. Yeah, and then probably we will experiment with meat horns more in pro game mode, because there is potential there. We were just unable to unveil it so far.
That brings up an interesting prospect. Do you foresee the possibility of doing something like, in some PvP games you have like hardcore mode where like you pull out a lot of extras and have very specifically just combat and versus like casuals where you would have something like power-ups and meat horns or something like that. Has that been something the team played around with?
Well, not yet exactly in terms of we've been prototyping a lot of things and have been playing with something similar, but the thing is we have a lot of ideas for events. Maybe in that regard that could happen sometime in the future, but that is at the moment we're just concentrated on polishing the core gameplay and the 3 modes we have, and as Dmitry said, we also work on another game mode that we cannot go into detail about. But the thing is, yeah, we've been experimenting with a lot of stuff, and the game mode you're describing sounds really neat. So could be great to try that out and see if we can pull something like that. But for now, it's core gameplay and core game modes. Yeah.
Does each hero have its own unique finisher animation?
Oh yeah. So finisher animation is connected to the weapon, and since everyone has their own unique weapon, everyone has their own unique finisher animation. Yeah.
What are some of the issues you guys run into while balancing a competitive game like this, in terms of whether that's the frame data on the swings, the damage, or the cooldowns of the unique abilities?
Well, everything you're mentioning can become a problem in terms of balancing. Technically, so basically we have a balancing system that we've introduced a long time ago, like about a year ago, and it seemed to work pretty fine, but not perfectly. So at some point, we just when our close beta players came in, we just orient at their reports and at what they find overpowered or underpowered, what should be nerfed, and so on. And so basically, we orient at that. I mean, we have this like the core system that sort of kind of like balances out everything, and then with each update we tweak everything a little bit based on those reports. So if an ability hits too hard, or it is inevitable to dodge away from, or something like that, or like someone is too fast, too slow, hits too hard, we just listen to the community and we try to hear them. And in that regard, we just tweak a bunch of small things with every update, because balancing, even with 6 characters, balancing them out is extremely tough. And what we're aiming at is just listening and introducing a bunch of small tweaks, but often enough so that meta does not get stuck, and on one hand, and on the other hand, so that everything keeps in balance. Does that answer your question? I hope so. Yep.
Yeah, and that kind of leads to another one. Do your AoE abilities, or do they affect friendly, like, do damaging abilities affect friendly models on your team, as well as are healing abilities universal? Do they only affect enemies and teammates?
Well, so basically, all of the ability, friendly fire is off for all of the abilities, but the effect can stay. So we have a Thunder Axe ability when one of our characters throws his axe and it stuns whoever it hits. It still stuns your teammate, but it does not deal any damage. So basically, there's no friendly fire in terms of damage, but there's friendly fire in terms of effect. And that works for all of the abilities.
I'm curious if you guys I'm seeing the knockdown animations. So how does like the damage work on knockdowns? Like, can they still hit you pretty hard if you get hit on a knockdown, or is there an invisibility period, or?
Well, it's actually both. I wouldn't say it hits all that hard. It's a pretty regular hit, but pretty regular heavy hit. But then it knocks you down, and most of the time you are gonna get hit a couple more times. So that's where most of the damage comes from. But yeah, you get hit from the knockdown, and then you get knocked down. So there's a downside on that. On the upside, knockdowns, like if someone misses, it is extremely easy to punish that, and most of the times the punish will hit you in the back. To the back. So there's a multiplier to that, as we mentioned earlier. That's a downside to trying to perform a knockdown attack.
Gotcha.
Yeah, well, it seems like this round is getting to an end. Would you like to hit some duels after that, or do you still want to watch some more Domination, or maybe Brawls or something else?
We could definitely check out some one-on-one duels. I am curious. How did you arrive at the number 5 for teams on Domination?
Well, that's a great question. Actually, we used to have teams of 7 at some point, and then that just didn't work out. It was we felt the point with Domination is that we needed to find a balance in between that, like, chaos and fun, and we needed to find a point where you can feel like you can grasp control over that chaos. And with 7 people, that was pretty much impossible. With so we brought it down to 6 and then to 5, and right now it's 5v5, and it seems like it works fairly well in that regard. So at least players, I mean, like, can get this idea that this chaos is controllable and you can just come in and win it on your own or together with your teammates. So that was the process. Coming down to 5v5 was a process.
Just a few seconds and we'll show duel mode.
Yeah, you can also just try if you have the game downloaded, you can try playing duel on yourself. Maybe share some opinions. I'm really curious to hear what you guys think, or we can just watch.
Yeah, sure. Let me try and see if I can load it up here.
Do you folks have any plans for crossplay at launch?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. That's the plan. Actually, not just an idea. That's the plan for now.
When do you guys plan to release, and what platforms are you aiming for at launch?
Well, we cannot share any info on the release dates, unfortunately, for now. Like, zero info, secret info. But we're aiming at PC as well as PlayStation and Xbox. All of the modern consoles. Hopefully, all of them at once, but we'll see how it goes.